Check it out. I got a huge list of questions that somebody gave me at a meetup in Victoria, BC. Look at all these questions. So instead of me sitting at my meetup answering all these questions there, I thought I would make a video to cover all of this stuff. This is like the ultimate list for anybody starting out. Like, I think it's just about got every question covered right here. So let's dive into this list. If you're starting van life, this might be a little helpful. All right, first question is, how do I make money traveling? This is a really tough one. I think a lot of people associate van life with quitting your job, moving into a van, and just traveling the world. It's not that easy. Unless you have something to offer, something creative, whether you're like me, like a video editor, or a photographer, or something creative that you can make and do. The best way to put this is if you're making a side hustle right now and selling your products online or doing something online, then you have an instant in to making money while traveling. If you don't have anything to offer the different towns that you go to, making money while traveling is going to be a little bit hard. But there are so many options for making money online, but usually it's attached to something a little bit more on the creative side. But if you're the kind of person that just doesn't mind taking labor jobs in the little towns that you go, I don't know, there's lots of little ways to make money. My suggestion is find something you have to offer the world and make money at it. Because there's so many ways to make money just being you and doing what you do. Like if you're an electrician or something, if you've got jobs that you can plan in different areas. But keep in mind that van life isn't always about travel. Van life is just about having more time and being able to work less because your living costs are going to be a lot less. I don't know, I think you should unplug the traveling part about van life and just focus on just getting into the van and then seeing what you can do from that point. Keep your day job, live in your van, make some freaking bank, and then figure it out. You might be able to park somewhere, work somewhere for 6 months, take 6 months off to travel, come back to another town or stay in a town you fall in love with, and find another job for 6 more months. Guys, there's so many little options. All right, question number 2, car insurance, van insurance. My van is insured as a regular van. So if anything ever happens to it, all the contents in my van, gone. You know, it's a risk you gotta take. I know you can insure an RV, so if my van was registered as an RV, I could insure my contents. I don't know much about this subject, but I do know that my van is insured as a regular van, so if anything were to happen to my van is covered, my contents, gone. Yeah, so that's a bit of a tricky one. Other insurance. I don't have any other insurance. So when it comes to the van stuff, that's all I got. So if you really look at it, my life is pretty minimal. If I were to lose all the contents inside of my van for some whatever poor bad reason that I don't even want to think about right now, if I were to lose it all, I think in the end I'd still be ahead because of how much money I'm saving not paying rent. That's a tough one. But if anybody out there knows different ways that you can insure it in different areas, I know BC, there's not a lot of options, but if anybody has ideas for these questions, put them in the comments because they'll help out everybody else. Next, where will I shower? That's pretty easy. Honestly, a little bucket and a sponge bath in the van works out really well. Makes you feel pretty damn good, and you can get a damn good sponge job. Weird way to call it. Easy. But otherwise, 24-hour gyms, rec centers are super cheap, and you'll find that once you're living in the van, that you'll actually end up showering a lot less than you did in your apartment. Like I find for me, if I can shower 2 to 3 times a week, I'm gold. So if you look at it, if you're dropping in at rec centers for $2-3 for a shower, still actually works out to be a bit cheaper than a gym membership, unless you're at like Planet Fitness, which is super affordable. Where will I sleep at night? Easy. In your van on the side of the road. And obey parking bylaw signs. Don't overthink your parking. If it's a nice neighborhood that you would probably rent a house in, then it's a good neighborhood to sleep in your van. Simple, easy as that. I don't ever stress or worry about parking. I literally pull up a street. I'm like, oh, this is a nice area. I'll pull over, check the parking signs. If it's good, I'll go to bed, get up and move. Just keep moving every single day. You have a steering wheel in your house, use it, move it. Because what's the point of doing van life if you just want to park in the same spot all the time? No fun at all. Where will I go to the washroom? Well, I'm in the Walmart parking lot. You can go to the washroom there. There's a Starbucks there. There's a restaurant over there. Tons of places. Or get a pee bottle. Guys, girls, doesn't matter. Piss in the damn bottle. Easy peasy. If you gotta take a shit in your garbage can if you have to. No big deal. Put a bag in it first. But there's lots of options. There's so many places that are open. Like every business, 24-hour businesses. If you're the kind of person that has to go to the washroom at night, park by a 7-Eleven every night and then just go in and go to the bathroom if you have to. A lot of these things I think people over stress prior to getting into van life, because a lot of these things, once you're in the van, you don't even think about them. You like after you're in it, you realize, why did I ever worry about any of this stuff? Okay, what am I going to do for power? Honestly, when I lived in my van for the first 6 months, I bought a little 100-watt power inverter from Walmart for like $25 or whatever it was. And I plugged it into my cigarette lighter, and that's what I charged all my devices on. I think when you're getting into it, just keep things very simple. You can add power sources as you need, whether it's buying one of those little portable ones that I have from Jackery, or buying a deep cycle battery and solar. All depends on your money situation and your power situation. I wouldn't overstress that, because I made everyday videos on YouTube every day with just my little 25-watt power inverter that I plugged into my dash. I charged my cell phone on it and my laptop. That's all I needed. Super easy. And everything I used in my van for power was all battery operated for the first 6 months, like little like AA or AAA batteries. Super simple. Okay, having a pet, living in a van with a dog. The only time that this is going to become a situation is if you're in a really hot area and you have a job. If you've got a job that takes you away from the van during the hot parts of the day, that's going to be a big problem, because you can't leave your van and the dog on a hot day. You just can't do it. So that's going to all depend on your situation. I live in my van full time with my dog, but I'm with him all the time, every day, all day. And if I am away from the dog, it's because of DJ work, which means it's at night, so the van's a lot cooler. So in that situation too, you might want to think about maybe trying to shift your job to a nighttime job to earn that income you need, and still having your dog be in the van in a cooler temperature. But that's the only time I think you're going to run into that problem. Next one is, how will I get my mail? That's actually a really good question. What I found on my thing is I had people tell me that UPS is the biggest one out there that uses the mailbox address as your unit number address. Like, it kind of disguises it as an apartment building. I myself use a mail service in Vancouver called the Mailroom. Actually, they just changed the name to Robson Mail and Ship or something like that. But they're the same thing. Their box number, like the P.O. box sort of thing, the P.O. box number is actually my apartment number. So it kind of disguises everything that way. But as far as I know, UPS, if anybody on here has any other suggestions, hit them down below. All right, next one up is, how will I get Wi-Fi and any way to use the internet? Honestly, Starbucks is a rock star. Starbucks has the fastest internet I think anywhere I have found. But you can get Wi-Fi at pretty much anywhere. Walmarts have Wi-Fi. Every business out there has Wi-Fi. Some smaller towns lock it all down, but that doesn't mean you can't pop in there and say, hey guys, what's your Wi-Fi thing? You know what I mean? But what I find, Starbucks is super freaking good. Their internet is always open during business hours. But if you're in Canada like me, I had a subscriber hook me up with Shaw Internet. So he has Shaw Internet at home, and Shaw Go Wi-Fi is all over the place around here. They have those little hotspot areas so their home customers can get connected when they're not at home. And I think the US has one too. I don't remember what the name of it is, but Wi-Fi is super easy to find, you guys. And you know what? Open up your phone, open up your laptop in places that you would never think to look, and you'd be shocked on how much Wi-Fi is everywhere. And a lot of towns now, I find the towns are putting Wi-Fi hotspots for that town. Like Vancouver, I think they're unfolding it by the end of by the end of this year, I think, or something. 700 new Vancouver Wi-Fi hotspots. Pretty freaking cool. Wi-Fi, easy to find. Will I spend more money on gas? That's going to depend on how much you move, how much you run around, how much you travel. I know for me, if I run around a lot, I could blow through 75, 100 bucks of gas in a week like that, no problem. But if you're the kind of person that just like maybe stays in an area, drives 10 minutes to a park, enjoys the day at the park, and then drives another 10 minutes at the end of the day, you might go through a lot less gas. That's a question I can't answer because I also have a huge V8 engine in my van. If you're driving a minivan, it might be a whole lot cheaper. Who knows, you may be in a Prius, you might pay nothing for gas. I think Prius runs on like 2 cents of gas a week. Okay, I'm over exaggerating, but you get it. Repairs for the vehicle. This is one thing that, I mean, I've been in my van for 14 months and only had one thing happen, actually 2 things. I did my front brakes, and then the only breakage I had was my rear leaf spring, which is like 250 bucks to fix. But the way my suggestion to you guys is when it comes to van repairs, take what you would put in your bank for rent from the money you're making at your job and just bank your rent money. Because if you really look at it, if you keep your 9-to-5 job and you live in your van, you have all this extra money. No more rent means all that rent goes in your freaking pocket. Just save at least half of that or part of that for vehicle repairs. I mean, you might not have a reserve at the beginning, because I don't. I mean, building on my reserve now, but you know, van repairs, just buy something that you can trust. If it feels good to your stomach, I don't know. Van repairs are a little bit of a tricky subject because it's hard to answer. My van's been a rock star. Some people buy vans that break down all the freaking time. Just be careful with what you purchase. How will I charge my electronics? We covered that in the beginning question. Just buy a little cheap little 100-watt inverter, plug it into your dash, easy. Another way you can do that too is when I started, I used to go to Tim Hortons every single morning, plug in everything I needed. You know, have my morning coffee, search the internet a little bit, charge up everything, and then if I needed to top it up, I did that in my van. Vehicle security. This one is a good question. I'm pretty close to my vehicle all the time, so vehicle security is kind of, I mean, that comes down with where you are, the areas you live in, the places you park your vehicle, where you choose to leave your home when you leave it alone. Anytime I leave my van alone, it's usually at a lake or at a park or somewhere really pretty. If I'm in town, I'm always within usually visual distance from my vehicle. I don't leave very far, but like if I'm at a lake, no big deal. I have a manual immobilizer for my engine that is hidden in the coolest little spot. So if I'm ever away from the vehicle, I flick that switch, so if anybody ever breaks in, they can never start my vehicle. You know, they may steal my shit, but at least I know my vehicle is here. So vehicle security is going to depend on you. I know some people are really hyper on this security thing, so they got cameras all over it, but that's to your own individual needs. If you're the kind of person that's a bit more paranoid, I guess, and you want to just kind of have your big security system, then do what you need to do to make you feel calm and give you a peace of mind. Me, I'm fine with the immobilizer. I'm okay, because if somebody breaks into my van while I'm in it, they're gonna get an ass kicking. I'm gonna knock them you know what I mean? All right, this is actually a good question. What is the downside to living in a van? I am still yet to this day figure out what is the really crappy part about van life. I don't know, for me, everything has been so freaking good, but you have to be the person that has to accept that you're gonna have to sacrifice some luxuries. So the luxury side of things that you miss, you know, you don't really miss out on, but some of the things you had to give up are nothing compared to the benefits and excitement and adventure and just the love and passion you feel, and just the whole total connection to everything you're gonna feel. The changes that are gonna happen within you totally outweigh those few little things you had to give up. They're little things, and a lot of those times they're material things or little things that you know, like, oh, I can't get rid of my bathtub. Who gives a crap about your bathtub? Look at the adventure that this life has for you on this side. Van life is just way more freaking exciting. I don't know, there's no downside to it so far. And honestly, if you're like, oh, you got a shit in the bag, Chrome, honestly, shit in the bag one time, you feel a bit weird. Shit in the bag 2 times, you feel a bit weird. Shit in the bag 3 times, it's like, no big deal, it's normal. Weird, right? Okay, where are we here? Pros and cons. We already covered that one. Is it legal? This is a tough one because I know some places and some towns have a bylaw that says no sleeping in vehicles anywhere. I know here in Vancouver that we've got some problems with like Vancouver's so expensive. This is like the most expensive city to live in, I think, on the freaking planet at this point. Like 500 square foot apartments are going for just about $1 million freaking dollars downtown Vancouver. Are you freaking kidding me? It's insane. 2-bedroom apartments are going for like between $1.5 and $2 million bucks. It's nuts. It's freaking crazy. But they don't really enforce a lot of the van life stuff because it's a part of the kind of housing crisis sort of thing. This is a tough one. I think if you live in a vehicle that everybody knows you live in it, you're gonna have a problem. I know myself, if there was a town that says it's illegal to sleep in your vehicle, I know for a fact I could sleep in my van in that town every day, all the time, and have no problems. Because I think it's how you live and what your van looks like. My van is pretty stealthy. You really kind of don't even notice. And I don't camp out in areas, I don't leave my doors wide open in the areas that I sleep in, unless I'm at like the park with the rest of the van dwellers. But if you're in an area that I think is, quote, illegal, you can get away with it. There's so many van dwellers everywhere that get away with this stuff. But, you know, just maybe if you're in a van, move to somewhere that is legal. Dealing with the police, never had a problem. Honestly, I'll be parked at the beach, my doors will be open, and the cops will come by and be like, hey, good morning. No problems at all. I mean, look, we're not causing any problems, we're not causing any harm. You know, the ones that are causing the problems are all camped out together in one huge area. Like when you go to an area and there's a whole crap load of RVs and van dwellers all along the block, that's when you're gonna get into a lot of problems, is if you camp out. And anytime that, I'm gonna go out and say this, I think 99.9% of the time that you're gonna have a police problem is not because of the police, it's because somebody has called the cops on you. So like if you're parked in front of an apartment building and someone's seen you get into the van, or you're doing something outside of the van and you got some angry, grumpy person up in the patio that's like, forget people, because they're grumpy with their own life, those are the ones that are calling the cops on you. The cops aren't going to give you any trouble. They're just going to say, hey man, can you maybe move up the street a little bit? You know, a lot of times the cops have better things to do than watch you in the van going, oh, these van dwellers. You know, honestly, we're not causing any problems. They got better things to do with their time, and I've never had a problem. And I even have a video on my channel a long time ago where I got stopped in a roadblock and all these girl cops were all over my dog, and I told the cop I lived in my van, and she's like, hey, that's cool. You know, I think people overthink these situations way, way too much. Cost of van life. That's another long topic. Cost of van life is only as expensive as you want to live it. If you're the kind of person that goes out to eat all the time and just wants to keep driving, van life can be expensive. But here's the easiest way to put this question. Van life is always going to be cheaper than the life you're living now in your apartment, house, or condo. And even if it is the same price, if you're trying to be cheap and it works out to be the same price as your apartment, condo, or house, apartment and condo is the same thing, van life is more fun. You got more time, more money, more adventure, you meet more people, and that's the truth. You get to experience like every weather that comes around because you're living in nature. So when it's cold outside, like it is right now, you don't care because you've been in the van and you're enjoying this part of the lifestyle. Anyway, I probably talked a lot because I'm trying to get through all these questions because I gotta be somewhere, like, I'm not wearing my watch, like probably right now. So I gotta go, guys. Thanks for watching today's video. Hopefully this helped out. And yeah, thank you for this list. This was awesome. Woo! All right, guys, I think that's all I gotta leave you with. I'm freaking freezing, so I'm gonna go. Peace out, all. See you later.